Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Bullion. Our guest today is Aaron Dishner, co-founder and lead instructor at thebettertraders.com and Mastering Assets. Thank you for joining us, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ivan. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's a huge pleasure having you on. This is your first time on Wall Street Bullion, so I wanted to get you on to talk about everything that's happening in precious metals, the global economy, tariffs, all the breaking news right now. But first, let's start off since this is your first time. Give us a little bit about your background. How did you get into this space?
Sure. So I started trading the stock market back in 2015. I should actually back up before then. I moved to Japan. I live actually in Tokyo, Japan. I moved here in 2009. And when we adopted a son back in 2013, I believe, 2014, I realized quickly I need to make more money some way. So I found out, okay, I need to talk to my mom. My mom has done investing before. I'm going to figure out what she knows and pick her brain. Asked her lots of questions. She said, "Well, first you want to pay down your credit card debt. First you want to pay off your student loan, and then you want to look at ETFs and maybe some like, S&P and stuff like that. But whatever you do, don't trade penny stocks." So
That's
I
good
traded penny
advice.
stocks.
Like, did the complete
which is
opposite.
actually which is
Uh,
actually a really good time for me to trade. Just because I had no previous experience with trading and investing. I'm a musician by trade, so that's what I went to school for. But being a musician, I understand how to read music. I understand how to interpret patterns and things like that and to recognize patterns. So I'm also amazed at how many other people I come in contact with in trading that also have experience in music and how it kind of helps them to become a better trader. So
Interesting.
I started with stocks and basically I was stuck with swing trading because the New York Stock Exchange like opened basically at my 10 or 11 p.m. So I had no choice but to just kind of buy and hold. And I didn't like it so much. And it was on a flight to a conference in Berlin. I sat next to these two awesome German guys that were coming back from a year in Thailand living off of their Bitcoin.
No
I
way.
had heard about Bitcoin more and more, and I was like, okay, what is this stuff? And they talked to me and they answered a lot of my questions. And basically, after that, I pulled out of the stock market and I bought BTC, and I haven't looked back since. But I do keep track of gold. I do understand that gold is very important, and it does give us that kind of barometer feel of what the world is feeling, whether it's geopolitical, whether it's with tariffs, whether it's with whoever is in power. Gold has a lot to tell us, and it also impacts how Bitcoin is going to perform as well, I believe.
Yeah, no, you absolutely nailed it there, Aaron. And that's such an interesting correlation between music and stocks and having
Yeah.
those patterns being looked at. What's your biggest thing right now that's concerning you in the economy or even the markets in a whole?
The biggest thing that's probably concerning me is the uncertainty of how the tariffs are going to impact US trade. I do see lots of good things happening in regards to tariffs, where the idea of a tariff isn't necessarily to punish all of these international importers to the United States, but to bring them onto US soil to bring all of their factories so that way they can improve the economy for, give more jobs to people in the United States. I get that, but I'm also an expat living abroad. So I'm
No.
paying attention to the yen a lot and seeing it fluctuate given all of this uncertainty around tariffs. So I think that's the biggest point of concern that a lot of people have. And that's actually probably why gold is continuing to go up because of the uncertainty right now.
There's about $15 trillion worth of physical gold in the world sitting there costing money rather than being used. It's just absolutely insane. Monetary Metals is bringing gold back into the financial world, putting gold to productive use right now. The problem with gold, of course, in physical form is that it's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's not particularly easy to ship, and it costs money to store in a protected manner. This platform Monetary Metals created is a proven concept and allows gold to be put to productive use. So instead of sitting there costing you money, it's actually in use earning you money.
Learn how you can earn 2 to 5% in our leasing program and how accredited investors can earn up to 12% on silver paid in silver. This advertisement is not investment or financial advice. Minimum investment applies.
Yeah, there is so much uncertainty in the markets, and I guess because we're such a strong silver and gold community, a
Mhm.
lot of people are a little bit weary about any type of digital assets. What can you say
Sure.
about Bitcoin? What can you say, I guess, what are the advice you can give our community for Bitcoin? And yeah, because we're very, hold it and own it, but give us some advice or some type of benefits for it.
That sentiment is actually echoed in several cryptocurrencies, but namely Bitcoin. So the best thing I can tell you is that Bitcoin is not crypto. I am not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do recognize that Bitcoin has a long-term future. It has no CEO, it has no main developer who can roll back the code, who can make changes like the other cryptocurrency and developers and teams can do. That's one reason why I like Bitcoin. I also like that it's decentralized, that there's no one governing party, that if they're going to make any changes to the code, a lot of people have to come together to agree. And once they agree, then it can be rolled out. That idea of consensus and working together across different countries, across different time zones is really, really great. Comparing that to the United States government, how they used to just print money on, flip of a coin. Basically see, okay, well, how are things looking right now? We think it looks like this, so therefore we'll print money. Like it's hurt the economy way more than it's helped the economy, right? So the reason why I like Bitcoin so much, and I think Bitcoin is the safest route to go, is namely because it's the least volatile, similar to gold. Sometimes you probably have heard like Bitcoin is called like digital gold, where that could be the case. I think it's still far more volatile than gold is, although one day I do believe it's going to be less volatile. At the beginning of this month in February, we saw a massive liquidation event that was probably around $4 to $6 billion wiped out in leverage positions.
Wow.
But the one that held up the most was Bitcoin. And that's the main thing that I think your viewers should really pay attention to. How does everything else that you've heard about that's shilled to you, whether it's XRP, XLM, Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana, they're all interesting products and they're all different services, but how do they compare to Bitcoin? Do they hold up to Bitcoin's standard of resiliency? I mean, recently, literally just a couple of hours ago, Bitcoin dropped 5%. But then
Right.
in that same period of time, Ethereum dropped 10%. Solana
Right.
dropped 15%. So this is why I keep the majority of my cryptocurrency in Bitcoin because I want to make sure that I'm buoyed against all this volatility that happens in crypto. But I leverage the volatility to buy the dip on all these other cryptocurrencies to increase my Bitcoin stack. That's my strategy. But there are also lots of people that just go 100% into these meme coins or AI coins or whatever, or Litecoin, and they get wrecked every single
Yeah.
time. And they think this time is different, where no, it's really not different. It's a different name, it's a different year, but no, it's the same cycle. And Bitcoin proves to be resilient year over year.
Yeah. Now, what do you say about, a lot of people in the precious metal space now, there's some companies developing a gold or silver backed crypto. Do you believe they're scams? Do you believe they're real? Or what do you think about a crypto that's backed by gold or has, asset allocations in silver and gold? What are your thoughts there? Are they a scam?
It depends on who the issuer is, and it also depends on how they're verifying what they're holding. Same kind of
Right.
problem that we're seeing right now with Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Elon Musk and Trump recently said, let's just take a visit over to Fort Knox, go to Kentucky, and see if they actually have the amount of gold they have.
Right.
Some people are speculating they don't have as much gold as they're saying, while other people are saying, well, we've had all of these foreign wars. I wonder if they've actually been accumulating gold and storing it there too. So there's no validation right there.
Right.
So when it comes to a cryptocurrency based gold issuer, like this actually has been existing or been in existence for a long time. There's Paxos. PaxG is the ticker. So it's essentially it's a cryptocurrency you can buy that's pegged to the price of gold. However, there isn't as much demand. And I think the reason why there's a disconnect between the precious metals community and cryptocurrency is that if it's in crypto, people are really focusing on Bitcoin, the majors, and all these degen plays that they'll, sub 100 market cap charts. When
Right.
not too many people are really focused on gold. And I think it's because the market kind of keeps it separate. But I think with companies like Circle, like Jeremy Allaire is the CEO of that, looking at ways to verify their holdings with USD and also pivoting to doing precious metals as well. I think I've heard something like that. I think that there is some promise for cryptocurrencies to offer a precious metal backed crypto. it just depends how is the crypto audience going to respond to that. And
Yeah.
people that I talk to, people that I interact with, they don't really care. But I think all the traditional investors, they would really like to have that. Because again, the benefit of crypto is that I don't actually have to have the physical bars in my house, in my office, or whatever. I don't have to have a safe. I need to have my seed phrase, and that means I can travel anywhere I want to with it, which is a benefit. So,
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Do you think, right now with the US economy, there's so much debt being printed and people's purchasing power keeps going lower and lower?
yeah.
What is the outcome there? And of course, do you think that the Bitcoin crowd and the gold and silver crowd, they're pushing towards the same thing, decentralizing of the system, moving away from US dollars? And yeah, what do you see of the US economy right now?
Well, now that Trump is in office, he's very pro dollar, but he's also looking at ways to back the dollar with the sovereign wealth fund that he announced a couple of weeks ago. He's also
Okay.
announced a Bitcoin strategic reserve, although we don't have any details on that yet. It's still being ironed out. But I do believe that the interests of a lot of precious metals investors and cryptocurrency or Bitcoin investors are aligned in that we want to see more transparency in the government, not just the United States, but all over the world.
Right.
And when we have gold and we have Bitcoin backing currencies, then we can actually verify, okay, this currency is actually worth what it says instead of it being like an IOU, which is how it's been ever since Nixon decided we're going to get off the gold standard.
Right.
So having Bitcoin backed, not necessarily 100% Bitcoin backed currency, but having some allocation of the United States Treasury in Bitcoin gives it some weight. It's like, okay, we actually have something that's verifiable. Yes, we can see the reserves. Yes, we know when the United States is buying Bitcoin. And another thing that will happen is that we already know that many other countries have a sovereign wealth fund,
Yeah.
but not every single country has a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And if the United States kicks this off and actually does it, it's going to create kind of like this gold rally that we've seen over the last couple of weeks with the scare on the Bank of London. Well, not
Yeah.
the scare necessarily, but this whole idea of wait, they don't actually have the gold that they say they have. Okay, I want to buy more. And people are shipping it, right,
Yeah.
physically, because they feel like there's a shortage that they don't actually have as much as they have. So if nation states are accumulating Bitcoin at a massive rate, then that means that the supply continues to dwindle, which will increase the price because of demand.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it, Aaron. Now, before you go, I'd love for people to connect with you. I highly recommend everyone to connect with you. I'll put your links in the description below. But where can they connect with you? What are your socials?
Yeah, I actually have like a link tree link that has all of my official social links there for X, Instagram, TikTok. But you can find me on YouTube if you just search for Aaron Dishner or Moonin Papa, which is my moniker for X and also on YouTube. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, send me your link tree in an email after this, and I'll include it in the description below. Everyone watching, thank you so much. Hit the like and subscribe button. And Aaron, such a huge pleasure having you come down to Wall Street Bullion. And as the market develops, I'd absolutely love to have you back on.
Cool. Thanks a lot for having me, Ivan. I appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.